We need to pivot back to the Buffalo Bills because, remember, after the loss to the Bengals on Sunday, Stefon Diggs, star receiver, made a quick exit from the locker room. During the game, he was gesturing at Josh Allen a couple of different times. We broke that down yesterday, and he's heard the blowback. He's seen the criticism. Yesterday on Twitter, want me to be okay with losing? Nah. And he had another tweet. You want me to be okay with our level of play when it's not up to standard? Nah. Last one, it's easy to criticize my reaction more than the result. Hey, look, more power to you. Stefon Diggs, make your case. Make it known. It kind of underscores what we were talking about earlier in the show, though. At what point does ownership say, we got to have a better team? We got to do a better job. We got a guy in Stefon Diggs who is out there leaving it all on the field. We got Josh Allen, who's one of the best in the game. What else do we really have? What else do we need to get to where we want to be? And Diggs cares. Diggs wants to win. It's not just I want the ball. Diggs wants to win, and he presumably believed, especially after 2 years ago when they got to the AFC Championship, they'd at least be back there, if not to a Super Bowl by now.
Yeah, I get it. You know, hey, you said it right. First off, it's hard in these kind of games because nobody else to worry about in Buffalo. Right? Jamar Chase gets a lot of good looks because you can't always compromise, Jamar Chase coverage because you go, oh no, then T. Higgins a mismatch, and there's Tyler Boyd. That's the issue they have up there in Buffalo. And like you said it right too, Mike, he loves football. He's ultra passionate. His heart's in the right place. Yeah. Is this being a little bit of a pain in the butt on the sideline? Sure. Okay. But I'd rather my receiver be like that than like just sitting on the, side of the sideline somewhere, being quiet and pouting or whatever. Yeah, it's the way receivers are. And as we've discussed before, receivers are the freakiest athletes on the planet. In my opinion, it is the best athlete on the planet. When you talk about overall speed, explosion, acceleration, and then they have hand-eye to go along with it, most of them are great at baseball, can shoot baskets, throw a football, whatever. So they believe, wait, give me the damn ball and we'll win the game. My whole life, when I get the ball, good things happen. So that's just part of it. He's frustrated. I understand that. And this was a team that was on a mission, was thinking Super Bowl, Super Bowl, Super Bowl. That's all they thought about this year. So he's disappointed. But, yeah, they need to help him out by giving a better supporting cast. And I understand his frustrations. I don't think he's crossed the line here of being, like, too diva or pain in the ass or anything like that.
It really was jarring, though, to see him making those gestures toward Josh Allen, who just sat there and ignored it, because some quarterbacks would not react in that moment per se, but you've touched a nerve potentially. And Josh Allen's he's a big guy. I don't know that I want to get him mad at me if I'm Stefon Diggs. There's a limit that I'm going to avoid reaching when it comes to Josh Allen. But I think that's an issue and that's a problem. And they knew when they traded for him 3 years ago. They knew he had the propensity to get, from time to time, upset with the way things were going.
Sure.
That's why he wanted out of Minnesota. He wasn't happy with the way things are going. And as I said yesterday, anytime you acquire a player who wanted out of his last team for some specific reason, that same reason could arise eventually for you, and he may want out of your team. I think that's premature, but it's something to watch going forward.
What receiver doesn't do it, right, Mike? A little? Like, what doesn't? I mean, we see Justin Jefferson. We see DK Metcalf. We know Tyreek Hill. We've had Devontae Adams. I mean, you can go through it. It's part of the receiver. If I had $1 for every time a receiver told me he was open during a football game, I mean, come on.
Right.
I used to sit next to a receiver in a team meeting. We watched the film the next day, and I go, oh, wait, here's the play. He was about to tell me he was wide open. I watch the play, and we look at each other and go, you mean the play where you were quintuple covered? That was the play you told me? Are you trying to get me fired or lose my job or what? So that's where you also got to take it with a grain of salt, too. These are emotional guys.
I also think, though, it comes back to the overall leadership of the quarterback. Does the receiver feel comfortable articulating it openly like that? I think in some situations, the receiver knows damn well to not do anything like that in public. And in private, if you're going to start that, you're going to get it right back at you. And you're going to hear that, come on, I could see somebody doing that to Peyton Manning. Could you imagine if Reggie Wayne or Marvin Harrison had done that to Peyton Manning back in the day? And if you do it privately, Peyton Manning is going to take you into the room right then and there, and they're going to break down the film, and he's going to show you why you weren't open on that play that you thought you were. We're not going to wait for the regular team meeting. We're doing it right now. We're doing it right now. You think you're open? We get the film. We're going to look at it. You weren't. Don't do that again. I remember when Dante Culpepper was very early in his career with the Vikings. They had Randy Moss and Chris Carter, and they would berate him on the sidelines. And there's a point where the quarterback, as part of the gig as being the leader of the team, has to shut that down. That's what's going to be interesting about this going forward. Now, going forward next year, when the Bills and the Bengals play in Cincinnati, the schedule is already set. We just don't know when it's going to be and what time of day, what day of the week is it going to be. And I assume it'll be a primetime game. Maybe it'll be the first game of the season if the Bengals win the Super Bowl. Either way, Eli Apple, Cincinnati cornerback.
Yikes.
He was having some fun yesterday at the expense of Stefon Diggs and Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. Here's just one of them. Someone get them in couples therapy. Josh Allen and Stefon Diggs, I'll pay on God. And that's the clip of the gesturing that we saw. And there's more. There's more. Oh, there's more. And see, there's a level where Eli Apple was mocking the Damar Hamlin reaction. Like, this is the one that bothered me. I think that one crossed the line. Cancun on 3 with the heart gesture that Damar Hamlin uses. I think Eli Apple went too far with that. The rest of it, hey, you want to stir up the hornet's nest in advance. You still got to play these guys next year, and they're definitely going to remember it now. He was going on and on and on. A clip of Josh Allen and Stefon Diggs shaking hands and yucking it up before the game. They ain't do this after the game, Eli Apple said in the tweet with that video. Again, there's like 15 or 20 of them where he just keeps poking and poking and poking. There's a point where if I'm one of his teammates, I'm going to call him up and say, you got to stop. You got to stop. First of all, we got to worry about the Chiefs. And second of all, we are going to play the Bills again at some point. There's a line you don't want to cross there. And he kind of crossed it with both feet yesterday.
Well, it's a tough subject. Again, hey, we just talked about, the guy here in the bottom of the screen, right? He talks a lot. I'm sure he was saying a lot before and during the game that probably pisses Eli Apple off or somebody else. Sorry, London, all right? But, yeah. So again, that's where you don't know. I said sorry for a piss, and then the other one.
That one?
I know.
Yeah.
I felt like we hadn't done it in a while, so I wanted to do it. But yeah, I think there's always that aspect that we got to be careful we don't judge. Who knows what Stefon Diggs was saying to Eli Apple all game long and all that as well. But yes, it does seem like, hey, the game's over and gosh, we're 24 hours out and we're still piling on a little bit. It went maybe a little overboard. You would think Eli Apple would be one that would not be like that, especially after the way he got dragged on social media after the Super Bowl last year, or the way he was dragged when he was in the New York Giants. You'd think he'd have a little bit of a soft place in his heart there, but damn, he was going scorched earth on the Bills and Stefon Diggs yesterday.
Oh, hey, he bit on a double move in the playoff game against the Ravens and got dragged just a week and a half ago. I just think there's a point where you got to forget about the team you beat and you got to start focusing on the team you're getting ready to play.
100%.
The 24-hour rule. He violated the 24-hour rule. He should have been thinking Chiefs, 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 not Diggs, Diggs, Diggs.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.